We begin the broadcast with tonight's big number, 6,500 pesos. That is the total amount that each transport driver will receive as fuel subsidy in a bid to provide relief over soaring prices of fuel. Some 377,000 motorists are expected to benefit from the dole-out, which has been expanded to include delivery riders. The program has a 2.5 billion peso funding.
They will start to receive that subsidy starting Tuesday next week. But some groups say this is just a stopgap measure. They're calling on government to review laws on deregulation of oil and excise taxes on fuel. Time for today's biggest headlines. I'm Gretchen Ho.
I'm Robbie Alampay. You're watching The Big Story. With threats of a possible transport strike next week, transport groups are calling on government to offer real solutions to the sharp rise in fuel costs.
While fuel subsidies set for release next week may provide relief, they say this is just a band-aid solution. Mon Gualvez with the big story.
The government is set to distribute 2.5 billion pesos worth of fuel subsidy next week under the Pantawid Pasada program. Each beneficiary will receive at least 6,500 pesos. This is also just the first tranche of payouts, with the second round scheduled next month. The program, meanwhile, has been expanded to cover not just public utility jeepneys, but also taxis, buses, UV Express, TNVS, tricycles, and even delivery riders.
Malaking bagay din yan eh. Kumbaga, kung sakaling pwedeng iparehas na lang din sa lahat-lahat, gawing 6.5 na lang din, mas pasalamat po kami.
But some of them doubt they will get any subsidy.
Tingin mo, hindi kayo makakatanggap?
Tingin namin, hindi eh. Siyempre, napunta sa operator yan eh.
Hindi nila nakukuha yun, subsidy ng mga driver. Hindi namin masabi kung nakanila, nakukuha lang na kung sino-sino.
Magkano lang yun? Yung petrolyo talaga ibaba. Wala pag-asa yan.
This is the same sentiment from the Liga ng Transportasyon at Operators. The group called on the government to offer real solutions to the problem.
Kailangan ng driver po ay maliwanag, tapyasan yung anong buwis na excise tax o naman, di ba ho? At saka i-repeal o revisahin yung batas deregulation law.
At least 30 transport groups have threatened to hold a strike next week if the government does not hear these demands. Meanwhile, based on the LTFRB's records, some 156,000 of over 377,000 subsidy beneficiaries already have fuel cards. PUV drivers can use the cards to purchase fuel only at participating gasoline stations. The government has also allotted 500 million pesos in petroleum discounts for the agriculture sector. Each beneficiary under the program will receive 3,000 pesos. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
Is the fuel subsidy enough for drivers and operators to cope with the persistent spike in oil prices? That big question and more with Pasang Mazda National President Gov't Martin. Gov't, welcome po to The Big Story.
Magandang gabi, Sir Robbie and Ma'am Gretchen sa The Big Story.
Magandang gabi rin po sa inyo. 6,500 po. Hanggang saan po aabutin yan?
Well, alam mo ito, Sir Robbie, ito yung napalaking bagay sa driver. Sapagkat gusto ko lang ipaliwanag, yung subsidy ang 6,500. Gusto ko malaman ng ating mga driver, hindi naman po sinasagot ito yung buong gastusin sa araw-araw. Yun lamang po itinaas ang sinasubsidiya. Halimbawa po, ang regular niyang konsumo ng diesel ay 1,000, naging 1,200. Yung 200 po ang sinasubsidize ng ating gobyerno. At Sir Robbie and Ma'am Gretchen, 2 days ago, nag-meeting po kami kay Secretary Art Gov't dito sa kanyang opisina. Yun nga po yung napag-usapan namin yung 2.5 billion. Tapos tinagdagan pa niya ng another 2.5 billion para sa second tranche by FDA. At ang isa pong magandang balita rito, hindi po kasi nalaman ng ating mga sa transportasyon, sa jeepneys, na dito sa Service Contracting 3, isinama na po ni Secretary Art Gov't ang mga traditional na jeep. Ito po yung libre sakay na programa ng ating pamahalaan, programa ng DOTR at LTFRB. Dito po, sa nasabing service contracting sa Robbie and Ma'am Gretchen, kikita po ng maayos ang ating mga traditional jeepney drivers at operators. Hindi ho kasi sila nasama ng first tranche at second tranche. Kanya po ako'y nagpapasalamat dito sa magandang programa ng ating pamahalaan sapagkat aside from the 6,500 fuel subsidy, isinama po ho sila dito sa mapakagandang programa na ang budget po nito ay 7 billion pesos. Naaabot ito more or less mga 4 na buwan po.
Okay.
At dito po, karagdagan, Sir Robby, nasamantalahin ko lang po, Ma'am Gretchen, babayaran po ang ating mga lumang jeep ng 52 pesos per kilometer na tatakbo nila. At yan po, maglalagay tayo ng GPS, ang lalagyan ng GPS ang mga ng jeep, para malaman ng LTFRB kung ilang kilometro ang binyahin nila sa isang
Apo, ito
araw.
po yung sa service contracting na sinasabi nyo, no? Ito po yung sa
Opo.
service contracting. Ngayon, kung itatagal po to, subsidiya plus service contracting over the next 4 months, ibig sabihin po buwan yan, lahat ng usapin tungkol sa pagtaas ng pasada, pwede ipagpaliban ng 4 na buwan?
Sa akin pong palagay, huwag naman po magagat ito natin sa sapagkat hindi po tayo nagsisip sa gobyerno, ayok pong isipin ng ganyan, Sir Robby and Ma'am Gretchen, kundi yung ginagawa ng pamahalaan sa public transport, palagay ko yung napakaganda ho nito. Sapagkat yung 4 months na yan, Robby, Ma'am Gretchen, palagay ko yung ang presyo lang po ng petroleum product nagkaroon ng problema. Dahil dito sa gerang ginawa ng Russia sa Ukraine, yan ang puro isang tumaas yan. So yung period na 4 na buwan, sa akin pong palagay, maayos na ho siguro itong papasok.
Sige, Ka-Obet, sa 4 na buwan yan, pinagdadasal nga natin na maganda mangyayari. Pero itong sa mga susunod na araw, particular itong usapin ng welga, ano po ibig sabihin nito sa mga usapin ng welga?
Alam niyo po kasi, pag sinasabi natin pag-welga, Sir Robby, ako talaga itaatras dyan. Alam niyo, una, pandemya pa po tayo ngayon. Nagdaan ng ating bansa ang buong mundo sa pandemya. At iniintindi po rin natin yan. Ngayon lamang tayo nakakaabante ng konti dahil sa alert level 1. Ganun pa man, hindi pa rin po normal ang aming hanap buhay. Yung akin, maipapayo ko lang at ginagawa ko po, nakikipag-ugnay na lang po ako, kinukuha ko sa paupo dahil baka meron tayong mabuting magawa dito. Gaya po ng ginawa natin. Hindi ko ho pwedeng saklawan ang kanilang karapatan. Subalit, dapat siguro ang mga leader ay mag-isip na pandemya pa po tayo ngayon kahit alert level 1 tayo. At ngayon lang tayo umuusad umangat ang ating hanap buhay.
Okay. Maraming salamat po. Yan po si Gov't Martin, Presidente po ng Pasang Mazda. Meanwhile, the price of Brent crude drops slightly on Wednesday after touching 14-year highs earlier in the week. Gretchen has the latest on this. Gretchen?
Robbie, despite the ongoing invasion in Ukraine and the U.S. oil sanctions, the price of Brent crude oil actually dropped by 13%. That's this week to $111 per barrel. Oil prices retreated after United Arab Emirates told Washington that it favors increasing oil production and is set to push OPEC for higher output. The market was also reassured by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and his openness to reach a compromise with Russia, lending some hope to a possible end to the conflict. Meanwhile, these are the other big stories tonight. From northern Luzon to the Visayas, presidential hopefuls barnstorm vote-rich provinces in a bid to capture more support. Meanwhile, another antiviral COVID-19 pill has been given clearance by the Food and Drug Administration. This one manufactured by Pfizer this time. And global sensation BTS returns to the stage in South Korea for the first time since 2019. A look at their homecoming performance after the break. still watching The Big Story. I'm Gretchen Hall.
I'm Robbie Alampay.
We take a look at the presidential campaigns happening all over the Philippines, starting off with Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and the Uniteam campaign in Laguna.
Mobile journalist Julie Baiza joins us live from Laguna. Julie, which local politicians have openly thrown their support behind the Marcos Duterte tandem?
Gretchen, Robbie, the grand rally here in Laguna has been over around 2 hours ago, but it's been a busy day overall for the Uniteam tandem of Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte as they made the rounds here in Laguna. Together with their senatorial slate, they made their first stop in Santa Cruz. Laguna Governor Ramil Hernandez, Vice Governor Karen Agapay, and Congresswoman Ruth Hernandez welcomed them. Governor Hernandez claims that Laguna's 18 mayors backed the BBM Sara tandem. There was a bit of commotion though as supporters scrambled for t-shirts being given away. They visited Binyan next where supporters waited outside their homes. But there were those who also made known their support for other bets. The Uniteam then held a motorcade from Binyan to Santa Rosa where another grand rally was set at the Santa Rosa Sports Complex with performers Anthony and Tony Gonzaga. The venue, which has a capacity of 5,700, was half full. Here, Marcos Jr. once again promised to focus on education, employment, infrastructure, reducing electricity prices, and of course, unity. Mayor Sara, meanwhile, promises to continue the Build program as well as to fight crime and provide jobs for people. Duterte told supporters that should netizens cancel them for supporting the Uniteam, instead of fighting back, they should throw a burger at them. Quoting the Bible, Duterte said, if someone throws a stone at you, throw a bread in return. The Uniteam will be back in Metro Manila this weekend. Tomorrow, they will visit Parañaque for a meet and greet with multi-sectoral groups in the city and once again, a grand rally. Robbie?
Maraming salamat, Julie. That was mobile journalist Julie Baiza reporting live from Laguna. Let's head to Nueva Ecija, where Manila Mayor Isko Moreno and running mate Dr. Willie Ong met their supporters.
For the latest updates, we have mobile journalist Yeda Marie Pascual reporting live from Nueva Ecija. Yeda, how is the Isko Ong sortie going there?
Robbie, Gretchen Action Democratic of Camp continue their second day here in Nueva Ecija. And their schedule is pretty tight. Earlier, the camp met their supporters during a caravan, and now the camp's town hall meeting is in session. During a press conference this morning, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno met with supporters and a few barangay captains and coordinators. He assured Cabanatuan farmers that he has a concrete plan for them. He pointed out that the 50% cut in the excise taxes and oil products and electricity that he vowed last October was made before farmers and fisher folks in the province of Tarlac. They then proceed to carry on with their motorcade in Talavera. Moreno's camp also met with the owner of Isko Renderia in the city of Muñoz. They then continue the motorcade here to San Jose, where the town hall meeting is being held. As for how was his first 30 days of being a presidential candidate, Moreno admits that it gets exhausting because he likes campaigning personally so he can interact with the masses up front and to know their troubles firsthand. Meanwhile, Moreno also commented on the president's remark that he will endorse the candidate whose name has the letter O. Moreno jokingly pointed out that all three of his names have the letter O. On the recent issue of Manila Mayor's bad grammar, his running mate Dr. Willie Ong came to his defense and said that these are just efforts to try to dissuade supporters. Robbie, Gretchen, we are still here in the city of San Jose. The town hall meeting is still ongoing with Mayor Isko on stage delivering his speech. Robbie, Gretchen.
Maraming salamat, Yeda. That was mobile journalist Yeda Marie Pascual. Meanwhile, of course, we continue to follow news on Ukraine as the Russian invasion drags on. Airstrikes continue to rain down on Ukraine cities, with Moscow now widening its attacks and now reaching the central city of Dnipro. There were 3 airstrikes on the city, hitting a kindergarten, a residential building, and a shoe factory. At least 1 person was killed in the shelling, but the death toll remains unclear. The European Union, meanwhile, has dashed Ukraine's hopes of quick membership. Leaders of the European Union met in Versailles to urgently address the fallout of Moscow's assault on Ukraine. While the bloc continues to condemn Russia's aggression, it says President Volodymyr Zelensky's appeal could not be fast-tracked. Some EU leaders, however, have pushed for tougher sanctions that would hit Russia's oil and gas industries.
Tell me why! That's megastar Sharon Cuneta's reaction to senatorial aspirant Salvador Panelo, belting out her Sana'y Wala Nang Wakas song in a campaign event. On Twitter, Sharon's daughter, Kaki Pangilinan, shared the video of Panelo. The megastar then replied with, "Why?" She said that she and composer Willie Cruz did not allow the song to be used for the campaign. On Instagram, she said that the only tandem of Vice President Leni Robredo and husband Kiko Pangilinan are allowed to use the song. Panelo, meanwhile, defended himself in a statement, saying that he sang the song to honor his late son, and that he doesn't understand what was so offensive about it. He said that he secured Viva's permission. For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
Time for another quick break. When we return, more COVID meds are now available for use in the Philippines. The FDA gives the green light for the emergency use authorization of Pfizer's COVID pill. Meanwhile, an estimated 70,000 people are said to have attended the grand rally of VP Leni Robredo and Kiko Pangilinan as opposition candidates bring their campaign to Bacolod City. And a warm welcome for the BTS awaits in their home, South Korea, as a global sensation performs live on stage after 2 years.
You're still watching The Big Story. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Gretchen Ho.
Another COVID-19 antiviral pill manufactured by Pfizer has been granted emergency use authorization in the Philippines.
While COVID cases continue to slow down for the Philippines, the WHO warns of a new variant that's starting to spread in Europe. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez tells us more.
The Philippines now has 2 antiviral pills against COVID-19. The Food and Drug Administration has approved for emergency use Pfizer's Paxlovid. Paxlovid was the first COVID-19 oral drug approved by the US FDA because it proved almost 90% effective in preventing hospitalization and death. The other oral COVID drug is molnupiravir, for which there are now at least 7 brands in the market.
Meron pong nadagdag na isang molnupiravir na gamot. Ito po yung galing ng Bangladesh, molnupiravir po ang pangalan.
The new drugs couldn't have come sooner. The World Health Organization has raised the alarm over a mutation of 2 COVID-19 variants. It's called Deltacron, a combination of the Delta and Omicron variants, and it's been found to be spreading rapidly in Europe. Still, infectious disease experts believe high vaccination rates should prevent another deadly surge.
I would surmise mas marami dito ang Omicron over that of the Delta. But I doubt it will cause severe infection. Marami na rin nabakunahan. So I think humihina na rin talaga ang severity nitong virus na to.
The IATF so far has inoculated some 64.2 million Filipinos, including more than 10 million who have gotten their booster shots. Mobile journalist Pamela Vasquez, we are One News.
Bilang
We continue to give you updates on the presidential campaign sorties happening all over the country. This time we check in with mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro, who is covering VP Leni Robredo's Pink Grand Rally in Bacolod. Jacob, is the VP campaign rally as grand as we see on social media?
Hi, Gretchen. Yes, it definitely is, and maybe even more. Vice President Leni Robredo had a jam-packed schedule today here in Negros Occidental with over 10 events in 8 different cities and municipalities. Early this morning, Robredo's camp held a mini rally in Sagay City with some 8,000 supporters in attendance. The pink-clad crowd chanted, "Hindi kami bayad," in multiple occasions in response to allegations that attendees of Robredo's sorties are paid. Joining Robredo's rally for the first time was former Comelec Commissioner Rowena Guanzon, wearing a pink shirt. She also gave a short message to the crowd. The Guanzon political clan of Cadiz City also expressed their support for Robredo's bid, citing her track record and platform. But would this be enough? It seems to be against all political odds for Robredo here in Negros Occidental, as 28 out of the 31 mayors here have endorsed Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s run. The mayors of Sagay, Cadiz, and Sipalay cities, however, are in full support of the vice president. Recall that Robredo defeated Marcos by a large margin here, with more than 500,000 votes in 2016. Meanwhile, a local vlogger supporting Marcos Jr. encouraged his followers to heckle Robredo. The mayor of Bacolod City condemned such action and called it a crime. The office of the vice president, for its part, is already taking appropriate steps to ensure everyone's safety. Gretchen, Robredo's ticket will conclude today's activities with a grand rally here in Paglaom Sports Stadium. It will be another star-studded event with performances from River Maya, Mayonnaise, and Kyla, among others. As of now, there's an estimate of 70,000 kakampings in attendance. And after this grand rally, there will be an after party in the streets. Gretchen?
Thank you. That was mobile journalist Jacob Lazaro on the line.
Back in home soil, global sensation BTS made a triumphant return to the concert scene in Seoul via permission to dance on stage Seoul. This is the first time they performed in South Korea after almost 3 years. Fans got their purple on the first of the 3-day concert at the Olympic Stadium.
If I can exaggerate, today is the best and most anticipated day of my life. It's a day that I can relive for another 3 years by watching today's concert.
15,000 fans were present in the venue. They all had to wear masks and hold back from the cheering and singing along due to COVID protocols. Despite the restrictions in place, the boy group easily sold out their tickets. They performed hit songs DNA, Dynamite, Butter, and Permission to Dance.
We used to film our performances, just putting the camera in front of empty seats. But as armies are here standing in front of us, it is so touching, and I'm so excited.
For News 5, MJ Marfori, we are One News.
Kalma lang. A little boy panicked at the sight of his furry friend getting vaccinated.
The cat was due for anti-rabies shot, but it appears the child was not ready to see his pet get vaccinated. As seen on your screens, this kid cried so much when vaccinators took his beloved cat for an anti-rabies shot. While the cat seemed to be fine with getting the shot, the little kid looked like the one in pain.
The video was taken yesterday during the anti-rabies vaccination drive at Barangay Lawi in Capas, Tarlac. Although the thought of seeing a kid cry over his cat getting vaccinated seems funny and cute, it also shows how innocent and empathetic we all are, actually.
Oh, yay! Inject na!
Napaka-sweet naman. Yung mga aso't pusa nyo na, pabakunahan nyo na ba?
Oh, actually, it's a good reminder. I mean,
Oo.
it's around this time, pagka tag-init, na talagang yung anti-rabies shots for cats and dogs, it's a serious, you don't want anybody getting rabies. So, kung may pets kayo,
Summer na, no? Pero alam mo, isa siguro kasi, syempre, lahat tayo, siguro meron tayong experience ng pag-iyak sa bakunahan. But, probably this generation is kind of getting used to it.
Oo.
Diba? Antayin natin kapag siya naman mismo yung babakunahan. Oo, i-post mo yan, sino man yun. That wraps up today's big story. Catch us again on Monday, 8 p.m. on Signal Channels 8 and 250.
Please like our Facebook page, One News. For more in-depth analysis, visit our webpage, onenews.ph. Mask on.
Wash hands.
And stay safe, Philippines. I'm Robbie Alampay.
And I'm Gretchen Ho. We are One News. Have a good evening.